views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are the content creator's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Essex County College. The material and information presented here is for entertainment and informative purposes only. It should not be considered as professional advice or a substitute for seeking professional guidance.
Hey, what's good, John? It's me, the Loner, once again, and it's been a while since I last did an episode, which hopefully you guys enjoyed or did not enjoy the controversial bonus attraction. I mean, nothing has really changed, but then again, I'm not going to complain about that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that short film slobs episode, because like I said already, with this mini-series, this is basically my personal project, and I want to go ahead and push my boundaries into video editing. So hopefully by using the free version of DaVinci Studio, not DaVinci Studio, but DaVinci Resolve, hopefully you understand that I'm trying my best not to replicate some YouTuber. But that's basically the whole point. So even though it may look like a YouTube video, like the average YouTube video, at least I'm not using epidemic sound. Most of the time I would say I would be using that, but not as the more common background music. Because if I were to do that, then it's not that this video is going to get boring. It's just going to get repetitive, and it's just going to get... Basically, you'll just become another content farmer, and so that's one thing I don't want to do. And it's also the reason why I don't tend to play any background music or anything. Well, but that being said, I'm already wasting your minute here. So, welcome, guys. Welcome to yet another episode of The Loner. My name is Jon Inahuazo, and as you may see by the title of this video, or at least this podcast, we're going to go ahead and do this retrospective episode, because I was supposed to do this episode a long time ago, well, at least a few weeks ago. I wasn't able to do that because I was busy with my episode, with the Short from Slobs episode, and now that I'm about to reach episode 4, hopefully 4 episodes are enough for me to contribute and maybe tell you that I can do a lot than what the film club already does, and I'm going to talk about them later on. So for now, today, I guess, as you may see by the title, Where Have I Been, or the Random Caster Mark II. This is not because of the Rodecaster or the Telecaster or whatever casters that they have, the broadcaster. Either way, this is basically shenanigans from the internet part 2, so hope you guys aren't good. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode than the last episode, and I'm talking about bonus attraction, because this is going to be unscripted as usual. But here's the thing. I do have an episode outline for you, so hopefully this won't be a disaster. Because last time I did this episode, last time I did a recording here on campus, I had no idea what I was talking about, and that ended up being a 28-minute episode. Anyways, that being said, we're going to go ahead and talk about why is my production running behind. And as I said, it's because of the Loner episode. Not the Loner episode, but because I have a bunch of personal projects I've got to deal with, and so we have Just Be You. That's not really a personal project, but by permission by Jerry Johnson, the creator of it and the host, he was actually happy enough. He was glad enough for me to go ahead and do a parody, which was "Don't Be Antisocial." But the problem with that is now that I have this idea approved, the idea is not the pitch deck. The pitch deck isn't the problem, but it's the execution. Because I don't have a script, I don't have any outlines. I don't have anything to show and demonstrate you how can I make this parody turn into a film. So what I want to do for April Fools is that I wanted to go ahead and not just do a parody, but also just do a film. So this is something that Film Club is going to miss again. But again, I will talk more about them later on, because they will be important in this episode. So for this parody, I don't know if I want to make this into a 5 or 10 minutes or so, because I don't want to go ahead and make this episode go on for so long to where this is going to be one of these situations and one of these incidents where I never get my things done, and then I have to go ahead and delay that episode for another week, and then another week. I feel like I'm the one who's getting tired of it, because I executed them well. I executed my episodes, but like I said, I've been busy with life. I've been busy. And when I'm not busy, then I'll admit I'm lazy. And the point is, I don't want to go ahead and see myself as a slob, but there are gonna be some days where I will feel like a slob. I will probably feel a bit lazy once I go to sleep, and I don't really have the time to go ahead and record anything once I'm up. So that's basically one of the issues right there. And then there's also timing issues, because once my brother comes in, then I'm not able to record. Once my uncle comes in, he's gonna blast some music, I can't record at all. And then once mom comes in, then I know I cannot record. And my second uncle also cannot record. So I feel like for me, I would say I'm more sensitive into my recording environment, and because of that, I haven't been able to record any newer episodes or at least spam. I would thankfully you're not seeing me spamming some content like the content creators that tell you to go ahead and steal content and then make some content. Thankfully, I'm not going to be one of those creators who's going to involve in that or take that step. Because sometimes that technique will work for some people, but then when it comes to me, it won't work. And that's when I decided to go and release episode 3 for Short From Slobs. And this was I think it was episode 3. So I made a whole YTP, basically a whole edit. Basically, it was just speed trashing a bunch of videos. I found that on Instagram, and then I decided, what can I really do with them? Because originally this was going to be a separate film called Grifters, and this was going to be another where I take a bunch of crappy videos and then turn them into my own narrative. But then I have my other film called Don't Be Antisocial. So what if I decide maybe abandon this idea and then just stick to my main project, which is not only Stalkers and Not, which if this were to be a film, I'm going to film that before they do this high school opening, which is again New Media High School. But otherwise, that's one of the reasons why. So basically, it's production delays and me just not making up my own mind. But then again, I'm not any better because when it comes from my brother, the same thing can happen to him. He's gonna tell me to go. He's gonna play FIFA and then he quits because he gets angry about it. And I just keep telling him, like, why bother playing FIFA Mobile or FC Mobile if you hate the game? And then he's gonna go ahead and talk about WWE, and then later on he's gonna tell me if he wants to, if he basically asks me if he wants to pay $20 or just go ahead and take the easy route, which is basically doing things for free, but you're not gonna gain anything. So like no in-game purchases. So that is one thing. That's the only reason why I'm not going to go ahead and punish him and think I'll be able for saying, oh, you owe me this, you owe me that, because at the end of the day, it's not that I want to go ahead and earn some money or steal any money like Family Feud, but that's a whole different topic. But aside from that, is basically one of the reasons why. So I've been lazy, but at the same time, I've been busy. So hopefully you understand that it's not just it's basically only me who's recording these episodes, editing these episodes when Mr. Ott's not here. Or at least when I'm doing these bedroom episodes and I'm here writing the episode, filming the episode, recording it, editing it, and editing it, of course, just takes, for me, it takes a long time for me to go and actually paste them and decide what was I going to do with the episode. And that's one recent example I wanted to tell you with Short From Slobs, because originally this was supposed to be a 14-minute episode, but I never got to finish one of the segments afterwards was supposed to be about cinematic stuff, and so cinematic fonts, that didn't exist, and then there was also, if you were to use on TikTok, you don't use cinematic lighting, but if you use Instagram, that's basically a misconception. That segment was originally supposed to be in that episode, but because I was running out of time, I decided to delete that. And even if I had some time, I think I would probably delete that scene anyway because it would be redundant to what I already discussed in my first episode. So that's also one of the reasons why the Short From Slobs episode had to be delayed, mostly because of my editing decisions and also because of pacing. So I want to go ahead and just give you production quality. I want to prioritize that over quantity. And that's basically what's going on right now. So it's because of recording environments that I'm not able to record my loner episodes as per usual. And in that case, if we do move back to the Dasher Center, then it might be, I wouldn't say it's a disappointment, but I think we have to go ahead and go back to basics, but then we have the information commons room, which is around the 4th floor. I'm still getting used in this environment, but like I said, I should be fine by now. When it comes to my bedroom, then yes, I'll have to go ahead and edit all these, and so that's the only reason why the audio quality between campus and my bedroom is going to be different. That's going to be a message for the audio files, but that's all I can say. Now I think I've already discussed this enough, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is about what have I done in the podcast club. Because last week I was going to be in the film club, but, because here's what happened. Let's talk about the film club right away, because this will be relevant now. So I decided to go back to the film club. I never said that I was going to come back, but I decided to do so as an observer. And you remember the complaints I talked about last year? This time it's not because I wasn't going to contribute anything. I chose to contribute in something, but I'm really not going to be doing anything until last minute. And that's basically one of the bad news I have to tell you right now. Because here's what's going on. So apparently Mariana's going to be leaving soon, and that's not the bad news. The bad news is that, well, not even Angie's team or Angelique's team is not the bad news either. So both of them are going to be leaving, which means which means we have to go ahead and vote for a new president. So a new leader has to go ahead and not replace them, but a new leader now has to take board of the film club, and so things may be different. Things may form differently. The pacing may be a bit different. So how they will execute the film club is, I'm not too sure about it, because at the end of the day, what was supposed to happen was, by the first month we were supposed to do some super shorts. And those super shorts are supposed to be like 1 to 3 minutes long, 1 to 2 minutes long at least. Neither of them actually got anything done, and that's the truth. None of them that they've done over the past 2 months have done anything, or at least for the past month. So month one, they were all focused on pre-production. They were supposed to be a team. So basically, it's just like what happened last year. If you were on Mariana's team, then you would be on Team 1 or Group A. If you were on Angelique's team, then you would be on Group B or Team 2. I was able to able to participate in Team 2. And like I said, she's already sweet enough, but I'm not going to talk about her right now, because here's what's going to happen right now. So if I do come to the film club right now, they're going to be stuck in pre-production. They're still writing the episode, but they're still writing the script. It's been a whole month, and they have not done anything. They were supposed to do something, but they got distracted. They distracted themselves by just having some off-topic conversations, and so that runs on for so long. They don't go ahead and try to lock in, because that's what happened last week. Last week I was there for a whole 3 to 4 hours. Nothing got done until Issa came in, and then he said that this film was all over the place. He had way too many ideas, and so I think that's one of the errors I have from my other film, Missing Divergence, because originally I had ideas, but there were too many of them to where I feel like the idea of this film would be confusing if I decided to add AI into this and then talk about high school and then talk about my college graduation, not graduation, but my high school life in high school, and then go back to graduation and then go to college, and then I talk about AI and then I talk about music. It's all over the place. That's what's going on with the film club, or at least Team B. They have, and I'm not going to offend them, but sometimes I feel like they have no idea what they're doing. Because even though Allison is not supposed to leave because Andrew's not going to be here today, as of recording this, I don't really see the point of me going to the film club today. Like, I can go ahead and spend my 30 minutes here just talking to you guys, recording an episode, and call it a day. I could be doing that, but then again, that's just me taking the easy route. So and even then, I've complained about them since the first episode, and well, to this day, nothing has changed. Except for a few crew members. A few crew members decided to go ahead and join in, so I did say earlier in my show that I wish them luck. I wish the new members luck if they were to join in the film club, and well, they're having some success there. But for Team A, I feel like they've made more progress, where they will probably be the first team to do production and do editing. And for Team B, we're already running behind, just as I am running behind. So that's what's going on right now for the film club. Like, nothing is getting done. They're all just stuck in pre-production. They don't even think about writing the script. And when they do write the script, it's going to take until 2 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now, they'll probably will have a script done. And then we're going to start production. That's probably going to take like a week. And then editing, it's going to be hell for me, because I could probably take like 2 to 3 weeks, but at the same time, I have parodies to do. So don't be antisocial. I have my 4th episode of short film slobs, and now I have to deal with a short film. So this is what I want to say right now, because if you're going to join the film club next semester, at least I'll talk about the fall semester, because the summer semester is all dead and all that. So if you're gonna be a video editor, a film editor for any of these films, like if you go to the film club, I want to go ahead and just advise you something right now. if you're going to be a video editor, please do not take please do not take the whole semester writing one film, because that would be pathetic. And then take April, because here's the thing. Because if you spend 2 months of writing if you spend 2 months of writing a 5-minute short, and then by April you start production, and then a week later you have to do it editing, but then a few weeks later, 2 weeks later you have to do the film festival. Yeah, don't do anything. Don't be the editor if that's what's gonna happen, because I probably would be frustrated if I were to do that, and that's gonna be the case for me, because at the end of the day I'm still gonna be a part of Team B, or at least Andrew's team. But then again, this is gonna be my responsibility to make sure that the team is done on time. But as I said already, none of them is getting done. So here's the thing: like, if neither of the crew members are getting their crap done, neither can I either, because I can't just be the only editor who's going to go ahead and think this is going to be all perfect. It's all going to happen. It's all like some magical stuff. There's going to be some magic. There's not going to be any magic if it's going to take you 2 months to write a whole film, and then you rush production so I can do the editing. And if I have no idea what you're writing about, if you have no idea what you're talking about, then I can't really edit for you. It's one of the main complaints I'm trying to tell you right now. And also, my voice is getting weak because I haven't drank water. So it sucks to be me, by the way, but I have to do this episode or else I'll be running behind. And that's the main point of this episode. But that's what's been going on. So, like I said already, what I have to do right now is do my parody episode, which is Don't Be Anti-SLAO Show. And then by the end of April, I have to go ahead and give you the 4th episode of Short from Slobs. And it's going to be about, I already talked about hooks, I already talked about cinematic, I already talked about rage baiting. So the last thing I have to talk about is what it means to go viral, and why you shouldn't be believing this myth, why you shouldn't be believing the word viral. That's one thing I want to go ahead and argue about. So you'll be seeing that episode next month, if I make it in time though, because I don't want to go ahead and give you guys that episode at the last minute and then just give you a crappy ending, all because of the film club. And that's probably the only reason why I wasn't running behind last month. Even though I was running behind with my first episode of Short from Slobs, at least I wasn't in the film club, because at least I had more free time to do my episodes. I had more free time to do what I got to do. But at the same time, it was also just the most stressful month when it came to my documentaries, when it came to my films, when it really came to just having some free time to do video editing, while also writing my own episodes, while also writing my own films. So it can be chaotic if it's going to happen that way. So that's why the most important thing I got to do now is make my individual podcast and then criticize about the school clubs here at Essex County College. So I'm going to talk about that. And if you're interested enough in that episode, then please make sure that you comment down below. And if you don't want to comment down below, just tell me in person, and then I'll go ahead and try to record an episode on time. But I only have a week to do so that means hopefully I'll be able to record 10 minutes of my podcast, which again is going to be called, I guess I never said it again, but it's going to be called Clubs Isn't Worth It. So I'm going to talk about so there's not really a point for me to talk about the film club anymore, because I'm already criticizing them already in this show. So what I will talk about is the podcast club, the art club, the 360 art club, and then there's also the music club. So there's going to be three topics, and if you want to be interviewed, then feel free to do so. The most important question I will be asking you is if you're satisfied with your club, and I want to know why you're satisfied with it, why you're interested in that club. So it's one of the main questions I want to go ahead and ask you. And if you're interested in that, then I'll go ahead and try to publish that I have to go ahead and submit this assignment anyway by next week. But if you are interested in that episode, then I'll probably try to post that by the end of the month. And that way I'll spend more time on editing than the first version that you're about to see in audio production class. So that's going to be about it it's already 20 minutes or so I'm going to go ahead and continue on for now. So now let's move on to the digital outcast, because this episode has been chaotic. But at the same time, I haven't spoken anything. I haven't done anything for that show. Because apparently the Digital Outcast came back for a 4th season, but it's also going to be the last season. at least under the brand of of the ACC Podcast Club. So yeah, I was just talking and talking, but that's it. Like otherwise, it was just again another episode where we see the drama, another drama series of David and Isaiah. And so in the near future, I'm probably going to suggest that this episode should be called "Everybody Hates Isaiah," and also because I'm gotten used to watching "Everybody Hates Chris," but this time I'm replacing it with Isaiah. I mean, it's already chaotic enough that I guess the editor decided not to post not to post the first take because it was already inappropriate enough, and I said it was not appropriate. That I'm not going to make it on YouTube, and so the first take is going to be lost media. I guess the first take is removed, and decided to choose a second take. And in that take, I barely spoke anything, so I don't have to be credited in this one. But that's all I can really say. So otherwise, the digital outcast. Otherwise, it's just going to be another Isaiah and David episode. But I'm barely in there because I'm just a spectator. So that's what it should be. So special guest or at least spectator, the loner. That's what they could have done. But I digress. And actually I have a couple of things to talk about today, but I think my voice is going to run a bit. It's going to run out of energy, so I have to go. I'm going to go ahead and try to end this quick. So if I have time in another week or so, I'm going to go ahead and talk about game shows and talent shows. Maybe that episode. I believe this topic deserves to have its own episode. What do I think about game shows and what do I think about talent shows? So again, I'll probably be interested in filming that next time. So be sure to tune in for that coming up next. And actually, let me go ahead and check out my schedule, by the way, before I get some burnout. All right, so next up, so like I said, this episode is right now called "Where Have I Been," and then next week I am supposed to talk about the industry because I'm about to go ahead and start basically the industry. Basically, they're about to end their certificate classes, which involves from script to screen. So I'm going to talk more about that in that show. So a week from now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that, and probably hope I don't know what I'm trying to talk about, but that's what's going on. So next week, I'm going to be talking about the film industry and what have I learned from my show and what have I learned from the certificate class outside of my courses, not campus. And then a week from now, again, it's going to be Clubs as a Word Fit, and then episode 31 should be Don't Be Antisocial. Episode 32 will be Redemption Hour. That I don't know what the episode's going to be about, so I need to have some space to talk about talent shows. So if I have time to talk about it, then maybe I'll probably talk about it in April. Probably by April I should be talking about talent shows and game shows. And so if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and talk about that next month. But that's going to be about it for me. And so before I go, we're going to go ahead and talk about one more thing. Because I did originally wrote this episode to include my critique on New Media High School. And I would describe this as a dream accomplished too late. In other words, it's a high school that I would have wanted to go if the Newark Public Schools had taken the chance to highlight my talent. In this school, they called it a media arts school, so my journey to visit arts high school is pointless. Either way, if this school were to collaborate with Essex County College or ACC, it would be cooler enough for them to experiment with video since there's already a growing community, unlike when I wasn't with the autism program. So that's basically what I wrote so that's basically how I introduced this topic. And then there was also me going on, talking and rambling about what's been going on with them. But apparently it's just going to be like any other high school where you have to do math, biology, then you have to do science. Like a New Media High School should only focus on content creation and filmmaking. That's the only thing that's relevant for that class. If you ever wanted to learn more about math, then you can go to any other school that has nothing to do with math. So I guess that means we're probably going to be separating Arts High School and then New Media High School. So that means if one day Arts High School decide I'm going to fully abandon the media production class because New Media High School already has that, then I feel like the way that you go, if you were to register for a new high school, you're probably going to feel a bit segregated. But of course, I'm not using that word to symbolize racism, but I'm talking about where the school is going to decide we're going to go ahead and split your dreams up and, just you do what you do. Just go ahead and click the check mark and don't do anything about it. Just good luck with your SET. Good luck with what you do. Like, there's not going to be any future for you at this point. So for freshmen, you will start with short form content creation, which you will be making 30-second commercials, 5-minute interviews, and social media videos. And it's probably because Instagram and YouTube are the most popular platforms that my show could have taught them what not to follow and what to follow, which is where short form subs could continue as an entertainment format. But I don't think it's going to last so long because at the end of the day, it's only going to be 4 episodes, and I only want to do 4 episodes just because I didn't want to run this content for so long. But that's going to be the same thing for Smiling Friends as well, because that's another thing I've been aware of. Smiling Friends apparently is getting canceled because the creators already suffer from burnout. Okay, my mouth for some reason is already off. Maybe it's because I haven't brushed my teeth today. So I'm gonna deal with that. I'm probably gonna deal with that today. I'm gonna deal with that once I'm done recording. And once I get home, I'm going to brush my teeth because my mouth is a bit off today, and also because I haven't drank water. Okay, I'm gonna stop complaining about that now. But all right. So we have CapCut, iMovie, and Canva's video editing software. If you are a beginner, then that's fine. But I feel like DaVinci Resolve is a better. Basically, I would say it's a better solution for all the video editors to start video editing. Now that didn't make sense either, but whatever. So CapCut, I think, is essential for most video editors who's going to do content creation. And when it comes to DaVinci Resolve, then I feel like this would be the perfect tool for everyone to go ahead and try to do films for themselves. So if you cannot afford Adobe Premiere Pro, that's fine because you can still use DaVinci Resolve for free. And if you want to go ahead and pay for Studio, then that's also fine because you will have more access. Then you'll basically have the same access as the creative filmmakers. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and try that instead of just using iMovie. But I feel like if you were to use iMovie, if you were to use DaVinci Resolve, just don't go ahead and try to add this. Just try to repost the same templates, not same templates, but try not to abuse the same transitions, the same graphics. Try to modify as best as you can. That's one thing I will advise you to do if you were to use DaVinci Resolve, because I feel like you will have more potential if you're creative enough. And so if you're going to be a video editor, then I would highly suggest you or recommend you to buy or get DaVinci Resolve as soon as possible. And if you don't want to get DaVinci Resolve, then go ahead and try to get CapCut. Anyways, all right, my voice is sort of giving up, so I'm gonna go ahead and just end it. I'm probably gonna go ahead and try to end it here for a little bit. All right, so for sophomores, we have this. You'll build a 10-minute demonstration video and develop short narratives and documentaries, likely under 5 to 10 minutes. And then there's also this. Most students in foundations and media production are likely to have their next steps set by the second half of the school year with intermediate media production. So you'll be either using Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, or the free version of DaVinci Resolve. And again, if you are a beginner, if you are intermediate, or if you're advanced, and again, I would highly suggest you to go ahead and try DaVinci Resolve. Final Cut Pro that's fine, but I'm still going to say DaVinci is better. Not because I'm biased or anything. Media can be biased if they can, but then again, I'm not going to go ahead and make a sponsored video and be an embrasser for DaVinci Resolve. That's not what I'm going to do. Because then I'm going to go ahead and try to talk trash about Adobe Premiere Pro and then talk trash about any other products like Sony Vegas. So that's one thing I'm not going to be doing. But otherwise, we have special effects, motion graphics, and green screen techniques. And I've learned most of these things that I've done here at college. I feel like I've been learning a lot. I've been able to adapt to the video editing software quickly, and they call me talented. But at the end of the day, if there's one thing you'll never hear me say, and I will say this in my script again, at least in my Short Films Labs episode again, I will say this: you will never hear me say, not to brag, but I'm very good at video editing. And you're not. Because then I feel like I'm just going to brag at you for no good reason, and then you're probably going to lose trust in me. Because yes, you get it. I may excel well in video editing. I may not excel in script writing, but at least I know what I'm doing. But one thing I will say is that even though you may use cinematic in social media, at least in the format of content creation, I would say this: don't go out and try to make a film with just cinematic and then just try to use aesthetics to use that as an excuse to build up a story. Because I feel like with storytelling, that's a whole different thing. If you're gonna tell a story, you're going to build a story. You're not gonna go ahead and use aesthetics to build a story, because you can't combine cinematic stuff. You can't combine aesthetics and storytelling to make up a good film. Again, that's the only reason why your execution is going to be the most important thing over aesthetics. And so that's why I don't want to go ahead and over decorate my film with pure aesthetics and then just for you to go ahead and get distracted on that. That's basically one of the reasons why I said in my show that I didn't agree with the speakers saying you should take only 2 to 3 minutes to cut scene by scene. And I already discussed about that in my first episode. So if you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself, because I will come back to that next month. And yeah, unfortunately, and yeah, today I was going to talk about XG24 again, and here we go again. Probably the YouTube caption is going to say XG24. No, again, it's going to be XJ24, so the letter J, not the letter G. Okay, maybe, yeah, I think I've spoken enough today. I think I've already spoken enough for today, because I'm already running over half an hour, so I'm probably going to keep this running for at least 35 minutes. And I'm going to be done for today. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on now. So, in fact, you can debate whether Resolve is new iMovie if you already use the same templates and built-in effects. Anyone under 18 is likely to excel more with CapCut than with Canva. And then I already read what I said. If you pass these courses, your next course is Advanced Media and Production Management. Now you'll be taking 3 courses, so be careful. Your next step is to produce your episode web series, and so unlike Professor Rico's TV production class, not only you'll be making your pilot episode, but you'll be responsible enough to develop your own mini-series. So that's what I've been doing with Short Film Slobs. So I'm already following the curriculum with New Media High School, so there's no reason for me to go to that school if I know what I'm doing. So no, it's not going to be take that school, take that New York. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes. Plus, you'll be obligated to know your audience engagement, the SCU for search engine optimization, and then digital monetization. And then you'll be learning about camera operation, a 3-point lighting setup, and then a professional grade post-production editing, which again I highly doubt it's going to look professional for students because they're high schoolers. But I feel like if you give them enough time, then I think they're going to be talented. So that's why I feel like it's going to be better if you decide to only run New Media High School as a 2-year school, as a 2-year media production school, because that way you're not posting stuff with filler, you're not doing anything, you're not running this course for 4 years. You're going to go ahead and make your own series, just try to be talented in less than 2 years. If you're able to do that, then I feel like you'll be able to, you won't be falling behind. You'll be advanced enough to where you'll be able to not start a business company, but I feel like you will be starting your own YouTube channel. You'll be able to start your own mini-series. You'll be able to start anything if you know what you're doing. So I guess to be early beginnings before YouTube, you would have done public access television. But nowadays, I don't think public access television is there. So even though public access TV, maybe that, and at least you have campus radio. I made a whole documentary about that, but you will not be seen here on YouTube. I only posted that just as an assignment, but that's all I can say for that. But otherwise, we have this. Speaking of which, let's talk about how neither of these courses mentions camera operation until the 11th grade. It's like saying it's okay to use your iPhone for your first years, but then you'll have to grow using camcorders or DSLRs. So I feel like the transition is there, but the transition is already long enough. Maybe that's why I pose of thinking it's going to be a 4-year. Of thinking it should be a 4-year class. Not a 4-year class, but a 4-year school when it should be a 2-year school. Either way, if I have no idea what I'm talking about, then I have no idea what I'm doing. But either way. Apparently, you'll have to wait until 11th grade to make live interviews and live production, and they'll probably just give you the 8 Mini Pro and a cheap camera, which is basically the budget of community college as well. So, that's that. Unfortunately, no high school teaches video or television production. So you'll be left behind if you were to visit Montclair State University, and you'll be left behind because at the end of the day, I'll be left behind because I can only do pre-recorded content but not live content. That's going to take me time to go ahead and try to advance myself and try to go ahead and speed up the process of doing live production. Like using the video as switcher may be hard for me because even though I may have used a virtual switcher, I think if I were to do it live, like a newscast, if I were to do it something, it's probably going to take me. It's probably going to take me a while to get used to the switcher. It's going to take me time to get used to the controls. So that's why most people would say I'm a nerd for knowing what a Mac is. Most people wouldn't see me as a nerd, but even though Mr. Rob may see me as cool, but also nerdy, at least I know what I'm doing, but at least I wouldn't say I'm going to try to fake my intelligence. Either way. That's all I'm going to say here because I wrote some more redundant stuff and I think I'm not going to talk more about that. So I think that's all I can say. So at the end of the day, if you were to go to a new media high school, then good luck with that because you'll be taking almost forever to fulfill your dreams. And so I feel like if you're able to do it in less than 2 years, I'll be happy for you. And that's that's one thing you were able to do with community college not all because I feel like I've been able to find my success story in college rather than high school. And this is also because I haven't done anything productive besides doing art. My paintings may have been decent, but of course they're not the best works that I've done. But now when it comes to making videos, and that's when I see myself as a filmmaker, maybe a documentary filmmaker, an experimental one as well. So that's what I'm trying to do as well for my film. And I already talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Anyways, my voice is already running out. It's running low, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here before I keep rambling and before I lose my voice, which, again, is a common thing for me. For some reason, it's a common thing for me. So it's already 37 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Call it a day here. Time now is 2:54. So one last thing before I go. If you're a new media technology student, then I highly recommend to go ahead and sign up for Drawing 101. And if you're going to be graduating in 2027, then I highly suggest you to go ahead and just register your classes right now because if you try to do it at the last minute, then you'll not be able to graduate in time. So please register your classes before someone else take your seat. It's just going to be like musical chairs, and so if you don't have a seat, well, too bad. You'll have to wait until next year to do so, or you'll have to wait because that's what's going to happen as well. Because the first half, if you know what you're doing in the first semester, then you'll have to participate in the fall semester, and if you miss that, then you have another chance to do so by the second semester. So your second half is on the spring semester. So if you missed the chance in the first semester, then you have the second semester. And if you miss both of these semesters, and well, sucks to be you. You have to wait until next year, or at least the next school year to graduating time. And so that's what I want to do as well for my series. Hopefully, if I'm able to graduate in time, then I have to go ahead and that means I have to end my series by now. So what I want to go ahead and try to fulfill now is at least try to make it into 50 episodes, and that's it. I'm not going to do 100 episodes. I'm not going to do 200 episodes because if I were to do that, then I would be running out of ideas as well. And it's been a concern to me since last month, or at least since the last semester. So if I remind you that I'm running out of ideas and I want you guys to go ahead and give me episode ideas, and if you don't have any episode ideas, then I'll try to find one on my own, which again, at least now I have something to talk about. Game shows, talent shows, I'll be talking about that next month anyway, so that's going to be about it for me, and that's going to be about it for you. So until the next time, next week again, I'm going to talk about the film industry and how I feel, and how I'm going to talk about my experiences with the NG Film Academy. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to be talking about what I've done in the film club, not in the film club, but what have I done with the certificate, what I'm going to be doing next, because I already have a script that's going to happen soon. Like I said, I already have 2 scripts in production, even though neither of these have made it in production yet. Missing Divergence for screenwriting class and Stalker's Denial for the script to screen class. So if that's one of the 2 projects I want to do. So if I have time to do so by the following semester, then I'll be satisfied to do so. By the summer, I probably should be only focusing on my SLAO EP and probably my music project. So yes, as I said already, I'm going to be busy from now on. My summer one semester, I feel like I'm going to be busy as well because I found my interest in because they've been telling me about production office, and I should be doing that so I can become a production assistant. So I'm probably going to be taking that as well, just as well as the sociality classes, the social problems class. Then there's also the history. So if I get these classes out of the way, then I don't have to be bored. I don't have to be doing anything for the next 3 to 4 hours or so until the club opens, and I do nothing afterwards. So that's going to be about it. So I'm supposed to be going to the film club right now, but like I said, I have things to do. And yeah, that's about it. Again, and well, I think I already said my one last thing as well, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat again with my final words. If you hire me as a video editor, but you never get your work done, I cannot support you. Actually, it's not about that I cannot support you, but it's like I cannot help you if you decide to rush production at the last minute and then rush writing at the last minute. So if you write a script before the semester ends, I'm not able to help you, because by the time the semester ends, I'll be gone, and you will not be seeing me until fall. And if you decide to leave campus after the semester, then well, sucks to be you. I have to move on to the next client. But I would not say the next client, but I will have to go ahead and find the next student, or at least the next person who's interested in filmmaking and who's interested in video editing. So that's what I want to do. I'm not going to hire myself as a video editor, even though I'm really good at video editing. Ironically, I said I was not going to say that, but either way, I'm not going to be providing any video editing services because again, I don't have any plans to make a profit out of it. So I'm not going to think about business right now. I'm going to think about my mental health. I'm going to be thinking about what do I want to accomplish instead of what do you want to accomplish. And so that's probably the only reason why you're going to see a bunch of 4.9 editors do the video for you. And that's probably where Epidemic Sounds comes from. The overused writer sound and then the overused music playing in the background. So I'm just trying my best to find up something else. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying these music selections that I've done for my series and for my films as well. All right, it's already going to be another long episode if I talk too much, and so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. It's already 43 minutes anyway, so until then, this is me, Jon Inahuazo, or The Loner. I will catch you guys next week at the same time, same hour, and on the same channel. Till then, take care and have a pleasant good night.
This has been a production of the Essex County College Podcast Club. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.